UHF by UHF, one of several singles of the week in this week's NME, and more of the work of Richard M. Hall, as his perhaps more prosaically name, actually Moby, and that's on XL Records. Sessions tonight from Red Ninja and Gumball, and this is Fatima Mansions.
August the 20th. Yes, folks, it's another clammy, warm night in England. A large crowd has gathered around the police station. Everybody wishes to have contact with a certain little Irish writer within. Not to discuss his works, though the works are known to them. They've been published in the tabloid papers by the police under the heading Barbaric Butcher's Brochures. No, they want to tear his very head from his body for what it is alleged he did in the way of mortal damage to two soldiers in a nearby public lavatory. Draws in. Nobody would say a word about him except a fool like me. Miskin. In rainy Ireland in the 50s, there outside a pink farmhouse door, a small birdie playing at digging trenches as Daddy watched that blowtorch fall. He said, the torch will cut the cars to turn them into sculpture, so I can express what I feel. The college men, they laugh, the farmers persecute me, but I through the 80s, Bertie works in labs, but his father's aims still endure. Only at night does he do his real work, learning, writing his brochures. For he still believes that everyone's a poet, and that all he has to do is to say it down. So transform the milkman, waitress, and the gunman into
those tunes you catch yourself humming. That's Fatima Mansions and the title track from the Kitchenware LP, or mini LP, whichever it was, Bertie's Brochures. And this has a kind of mini-drama within a mini-drama, a forthcoming single from Even As We Speak, not to be released by Sarah Records, I think, until January, but they sent me an early copy to play to you. Forthcoming single from Even As We Speak are going to be in our lovely country promoting that, I understand, soon. Out on Sarah Records in January, and that's called Beautiful Day. And these are the Dorsets.
I like my biscuits fluffy, child, with rice on the side, yeah. But when it comes to good loving, baby, don't forget to buy Mr. Chops, yeah. Every day of my life I got to have me some, yeah. chops, yeah, yeah. Every day of my life, I need me some of them pork chops, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Can't do the right time, but every night I got to have me some. Yeah, I asked the waitress, I said, you know I love you, baby, and I don't want to go to court. I'm just trying to stop my stomach from sewing my back on a nice support. I got to have this support. Yeah. Every day of my life, I need me some of the pork chop. Yeah, chop. Yeah. Grits and gravy, collard greens maybe, but I got to have me some pork chop. Yeah. Can't you hear them sizzling in the pan, baby? I smell them, don't you? It's sweet. It's sweet. The fragrance is going all.
Lo-fi and ideologically unsound, but a great record for all that. Those are the Dorsets from the LP Talkin' Trash, and that's Pork Chops. This is the first from Motion, Loop T, Sex Ninja, DJ Sticks, Wadlow, Peter Peter, DJ Chicks, Gadget, and IQ, Red Ninja.
Try this. Now we start.
We will conquering lion. Oh Lord.
Switch on control panel.
Switch on control panel.
Switch on tower receiver.
Switch on tower receiver.
Switch on XIP flight radio center.
Switch on XIP flight radio center.
Grotus, or possibly Grottus, on Smelly Records, a 7-inch import from the United States, and a version of the Grand Funk Railroad favourite of yesteryear, American band. Before that, it was Red Ninja in session, and the first from them, which is called Trenton Dub. Last night, I mentioned Volume 2 of, well, Volume, described as 78-minute CD and thick book, 19 exclusive tracks, 300 colour pictures, 30,000 words, plus the meaning of life. This is one of the tracks.
I
That's Curve from the magazine Volume 2. More details later in the programme. That was already yours. But now it's 11:30 on 1FM, and Richard Evans has the news.
Preparations are continuing in Syria for the expected release tomorrow of Joseph Sisipio, one of the last 3 American hostages in Beirut. Earlier, Israel freed 25 Arab prisoners, and the United Nations has tonight issued a statement saying a basic understanding has been reached on an exchange of captives. Anti-terrorist detectives have warned the public to be on the lookout for IRA activity in Britain during the run-up to Christmas. The warning comes after last night's firebomb attacks on shops in London. It's thought they were carried out by one of the 2 IRA cells operating on the mainland. Police in North Wales are investigating allegations of sexual and physical abuse at a number of children's homes in Clwyd and Gwynedd. The allegations come 2 days after a former Leicestershire social worker, Frank Beck, was given 5 life sentences for abusing children in his care. Gail Foley reports.
Allegations of sexual abuse centre on homes in Clwyd, one of which is now closed. Allegations of physical abuse have been made at Tir Felin, an assessment centre at Bangor in Gwynedd. All come from young men in their late teens and early 20s who were in care some years ago. 3 former Clwyd social workers have already been jailed for sex offences involving children in care. The chairman of Clwyd Social Services, Mr Malcolm King, says he fears the possibility that other abusers may still be working in residential care, both in Clwyd and throughout the country.
Police in India have been questioning porters and kitchen staff at Delhi's International Airport after a remote-control petrol bomb was found on an airliner bound for London and New York. The device had been left in a food container. The American space shuttle Atlantic has landed safely in California after having to cut short its latest mission. The 6 astronauts were forced to come home early by a fault in a navigation unit. In sport, John Parrott is the new UK snooker champion. He beat Jimmy White by 16 frames to 13 in the final in Preston. And France have won the Davis Cup in tennis for the first time since 1932. There were jubilant scenes on the court as Guy Forget beat the American Pete Sampras after a 4-set battle. That's it. The next news on 1FM is at 1.
No bottle has he anymore. Took his man
And he has visions of islands heavily covered in slime. The villagers dance like crickets and laugh through twisted mouths. Don't eat, express aloud. Some are moribunds with energy from the mainland.
Having got all of them, of course, said Heath Smuggler, I'm never quite sure which fall LPs from the past are now difficult to get hold of, but I think that's one of them. Hex Induction Hour, which has been issued on a CD by Line Records of Hamburg, but is generally available, you know, if you go into your record shop and tell them that it's available, it's imported into the country and so forth, then they'll get you one. That was Jawbone and the Air Rifle, and of course, as you know, the Fall about to embark on a tour. In fact, well, it's not midnight yet, but it'll shortly be Monday, and tomorrow night still, Coventry Polytechnic. I'm getting confused with all this. That's right, yeah, Monday night, Coventry Polytechnic with the Cylons. Then on Tuesday, it's Blackpool at the Palace Nightclub with Fungus and DJ Matt. On the 6th of December, they're at Bristol University with the Cylons. On the 8th of December, What Noise support them at Hull University. On the 18th of December, my brother Alan's birthday, the Fall are at Stockport Town Hall with Collision and DJ Matt. And on the 23rd of December, they're at Stockport Town Hall again, as a matter of fact, again supported by What Noise. So get along to one of those if you possibly can. I shall do my best as well. And I've got an awful feeling I was enjoying that so much that I forgot to put the next record on. In fact, I know that this is true. So what can I do now? This is going to be very embarrassing indeed. I think the best thing I can do is to play you another track from that CD because it's already queued up, so that's what I'll do. Right, what comes up next? The next track on there is... no, I'll tell you what. I've really been taken by surprise on this one. Actually, here's one that you don't hear very often. Let's see, it's track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if you hear it at all. There we go. Let's try track 8. It's amazing. For once, the technology has leapt to my aid, and I'm extremely grateful to it. This is another track, therefore, from Hex Induction Hour, whenever you're ready.
When what used to excite you does not, like you've used up all your allowance of experiences, head filled with the mouths of two well-known people. Last time. Just step sideways from this world today. Just step sideways round this place today. I just step sideways round this world today. I just step outside this grubby place today. Don't ever hit that vulgar cave. The differences go the opposite way. I just step outside this futurist world today. I just step right round this today. The Eastern Black Box television so just step sideways from this place today. To be a celebrity, you gotta eat the past nowadays. But who wants to be in a hopeless adverts? Anyway, I just step right round this futurist world today. I just step outside this grubby place today. I just skip out misty ice flicks of Bacardi. I just step outside
Monday night on 1FM, hear the hits of Sting. With tracks from the early days of the Police to his current solo album, The Soul Cages. He's live in concert on the final stage of his 1991 World Tour. Sting, live at Wembley, is exclusive to BBC Radio 1FM on Monday night at 10.
Tension and Transparent Wing, and that comes from the LP from 8 Records of Liverpool called Give Love. It actually says on the sleeve, let's take this thing right through to the land of dreams, music from Liverpool's heart and soul, and it features the Donny and Marie Handbag Revolution, Kathy Gilliard, G Love featuring Jane Casey, Jennifer John, Connie Lush, Spiritual Suicide Tension, and Marina Van Roy, written and produced by 8, so it's all Coyle, Comerson and Wright stuff. Before that, it was The Fall from the CD Online, Hex Induction Hour, and Just Step Sideways, and in between, the grand news about Sting on 1FM. Some more football action.
gritan ¡Gol! De Pelé, de Pelé, es el gol de Pelé que ya entró. 4-2, 5-2, 5-2, y marcando los goleados dos. Es el rey del Brasil, le dedico esta mi canción. El rey jugador del balón. En el fútbol jamás tú tendrás un rival. La afición de la Santa preparada a gritar. Todo el mundo con locura gritan ¡Gol! De Pelé, es el gol de Pelé que ya entró. 4-2, 5-2, y marcando los goles a los dos. Es el rey del Brasil, le dedico esta mi canción.
An open letter to George Best. An open letter to George Best.
And so it goes on. Actually, no, it doesn't, because the CD machine just switched it off. But that's another track about Pele, as you will have gathered from the CD Bend It from Exotica. Artist unknown. It just says Pele El Rey, which I just bet means the king. Don't you think that? And I was just watching Brazil, oddly enough, and Chile on one of the television monitors here in the studio. Very good it was, too. Playing on an appalling pitch, but still doing great stuff. These are the Melvins.
A vision of crutches, you partake of the dust of the ground. I know some of you are frightened about it. We can go to church, and you're naked.
And over the foul of the air.
And fire. Of course, people said they're drunk. And this, my friend, is my prayer for you.
Such noisy people. That's from the 10-inch LP Eggnog on Tupelo Records, Melvins, and it's called Hogleg. Now, another track from Volume 2, which, as I mentioned last night, in a programme which came from a different studio to this one, and which was even more of a mess than these programmes are normally. They'd switched round the microphone fader, so I kept opening the wrong microphone, and a tiny disembodied voice, like something in a children's story, would suddenly appear, as it were, on your shoulder. Anyway, on this Volume 2, you get stuff by Barry Adamson, Lush, The Blue Aeroplanes, MC 900 Foot Jesus, New Fads, Nine Inch Nails, Whipped Cream, who you heard in session recently from Sweden, Spiria X. I've never been quite sure if that's how you pronounce it, because I've never heard anybody else say it, but Blur, Sugar Cubes, Definition of Sound, Celestial Tribes, System 7, Bomb the Bass, EMF Pulp, No Man Curve, and Gallon Drunk. As I said earlier on, 78 minutes and a thick book, and here are another 4 of those minutes. Celestial Tribes, who are the only people who've not had a previous release, who are featured on the CD Volume 2 with the magazine Volume 2. And that's called Gold, and they're H-Arc, recording artists. And the vocals are by Franca Cole from Ipswich. I think Ipswich is, going to be next year's big place, frankly. This is another one from Red Ninja in session, their first session for the programme, Bad Voice Men of the Apocalypse. I look forward to hearing this.
Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered.
in needless access or unnatural sex, yes? The aid that I use, you're purely your views, your glory of murder, racial disorder. So who's the marauder who's starving the nations and blowing up stations? The corpses are growing from the seas who've been saying Armageddon is nearing. You're standing up cheering, but for death you're cheering. The death-bound train is your final trip to the Grand Reaper, the apocalypse, the apocalypse. The apocalypse, the apocalypse.
A bit of a national treasure, these folks, I reckon. Red Ninja in session, and that's Bad Voice Men of the Apocalypse. And whilst that was going on, Sunday turned into Monday in that extraordinary way that it has. And in case you've been listening to the programme hoping to hear Gumball, amongst all of the other fine things, of course, and have wondered what's become of them, well, I'm going to broadcast all of their 5 tracks as a great lump, and that comes up now, in fact, starting with 39 Lashes.
that you are dead. Get yourself an open back car. Get yourself together now. Give me something tasty. Everything you try to do, you know it sure sounds wasted. Together now, give me something tasty. Everything you try to do, you know it sure sounds wasted. Back off, boogaloo, I said. Back off, boogaloo, come on. Back off, boogaloo. You think you're the groove, standing there in your wallpaper shoes and your socks that match your eyes. Get yourself together now. Give me something tasty. Everything you try to do, you know it sure sounds wasted. Back off, boogaloo, I said. Back off, boogaloo, come on. Back off, boogaloo. I said, back off, boogaloo, I said. Back off, boogaloo, I said. Back off, boogaloo. Back off, boogaloo, I said. Back off, boogaloo.
most enjoyable sessions of the year, I think, from Gumball. There you get it in its entirety. 39 Lashes, an Andrew Lloyd Webber composition to start us off, followed by Light Shines Through, which you know is available on a 7-inch single from Waterfront Records of Australia. Back Off Boogaloo, the old Ringo Starr favourite. Then a song called Marilyn, and finally High or Low. This is from Nottingham, and one of my favourite records of the hour, from Ultraviolence.
He'd say, "You want to play with fire, little boy?" He'd say, "You want to play with fire, little boy?" He'd say, "You want to play with fire, little boy?" He'd say, He'd say, "You want to play with fire, little boy?" He'd say, "You want to play with fire, little boy?"
almost frighteningly clever Ultra sequence there for you. Ultramarine, and from the LP Every Man and Woman is a Star on Brainiac Records, that was Panther. Before that, it was Ultra Violence from Nottingham, a 12-inch, called You'll Never Sleep Tonight. Well worth tracking down, in my estimation. And this next is for the Pig.
Arms of mine, they are lonely, lonely and feeling blue. These arms of mine, they are yearning, yearning from wanting you. And if you would let them hold you, oh, how grateful I will be. These arms of mine, they are burning, burning from wanting you. These arms of mine, they are wanting to hold you. And if you would let them hold you, oh, how grateful I will be. Come on, baby. Just be my little woman. Just be my lover. Oh, I need me somebody to treat me right. Oh, I need your warm, loving arms to hold me tight. And I need your tender lips to hold me. When I'm around.
Good night, Pig. That's from Otis Redding, These Arms of Mine, and it reoccurs on the CD or in the CD set, the complete Stax Vault singles, 1959 to 1968. MCR Records and their representative in Bath, in addition to putting out a Nessun Dorma LP, a track from which you'll hear later in the programme, still importing stuff from Japan, of course. And this is from a 7-inch, which features on one side Concrete Socks and on the other Nightmare. It's called Tragedy.
Don't
That's Nightmare from a 7-inch EP with Concrete Socks on the other side of it, on MCR Records, and it's called Tragedy. No faxes have come in to the programme in the course of the evening, but when I finished last Sunday night's programme, there was a whole bunch of them waiting on the machine, all of them from Roger Jane from Bodmin, and hope you're listening to tonight's programme, Roger, and enjoying every golden moment of it. And earlier on today, I went out and had a beer, just one, with FSK, Freiwillige Selbstcontroller, as was, and just went out to have, really, to talk about their session. They're recording a session on Tuesday, their 5th for the programme, incidentally, and the Shend came along with us, ex-cravats and so on, and most recently seen on television wearing a dress on the Pale, what's it called, Hale and Pace, is that right, Hale and Pace programme, but he tells me that he's getting a new band together and promises me a cassette of their work, and I look forward to hearing that. But as I say, FSK recording a session on Tuesday, then on Wednesday night, as I mentioned in last night's programme, they've got a gig at the George Robey in London, and in the course of that, they'll be doing tunes like this, which is from their most recent recording, Son of Kraut, and that's on Sub Up Records. And I've got the CD now, actually, which I hadn't realised has got more tunes on it than the vinyl version. But this isn't, actually, this is on both, I think.
When it's raining in Texas, it snows in Burley, and though your heart must be heavy, when mine's made of lead, 'cause when it's raining in Texas, the soldier is sad. But if you're not my sweetheart, I know you'll be my friend. Well, I've been round the world now and thought just of you. But I'd never fought you for what you couldn't do. When it's raining in Texas, it snows in the ride, and that sad lazy river would ease my poor mind. And when the plane leaves from Frankfurt, it will leave me behind. Though I'd love to come see you, but if I'm gonna be sad when it's springtime in Texas, it rains on the ride, and that sad lazy river will ease my poor mind. Yes, that sad lazy river will soothe my poor soul. Soothe my poor soul.
How do you feel?
I'm all right. Colonel, why don't you try another channel?
I've tried them all.
Well, I'm a band to and tell the road boys, man, listen me people, man, you them a talk about them a gunman and them stuff, the watcher, man. Watcher. You ever tell us, that tell about bad, that tell about wanted man. Man, we shot soldier and police tell you about bad, bad, wicked man. And then the road what me call gun dog. And then you know remember Bucky Marshall and him notoriety. With a gun in him and I hope you are hear me lead my chisel gang to downtown city. And instantly fly out of the country. Right there so him get shot, me say by some yardie. At the 29th of March of 1980. Man, we party they died in New York City. Me tell about bad, that tell about wanted man, we shot soldier and police tell you about bad, wicked man. And then the road boy me call gun gargan. Well, you know say clad him as up them man a gangale. The concrete taser him run to valley. But in 1979 the 4th of February out of Marcus Cabbage the police shot Clady. Him dead at the age of no what 30 year when them try the police then get with that free thing bad, wanted man. We shot soldier and police tell you about bad, wicked man. And then the road boy me call gun gargan. Well, you know the judge slash a bad boy alias. In a 1971 October the 22nd, them hold them on them charge him for robbery. Him rob the bank at commerce and go a captivity. Them other 15 lashes up on the young man body. Him jump the prison fence and right now him freezing bad, wanted man. We shot soldier and police tell you about bad, wicked man. And then the road boy me call gun gargan. Original Tony Brown where them call me Sati. They on the biggest wanted list in a 1980, in a 1981 in a February. Them said no carry what for anybody for big information to the security. Although them no get him a revolutionary thing bad, wanted man. We shot soldier and police tell about bad, wicked man. And then the road boy me call gun gargan. Well you know Sir Raps where we call him copper. Say them man are the famous bank robber. Him rap from the rich and give to the sufferer. A big mouth so big them bad boy the fire. Him run Rockford and a days our car. When him at 27 them pitch him over. And 1978 me say me must member. Man all me a chatter this me just can't figure. The last place click before him dead I done a track sing bad, wanted man. We shot soldier and police tell you about bad, wicked man. And then the road where we call gun gargan. Original feather map where we call him feather. Me hear say him get shot by a stranger. And that upon the 12th me say a December. The man him dead when him was 35. And that in the year 1985 sing bad, wanted man. We shot soldier and police tell you about bad, wicked man. And then the road where we call gun gargan. Then you know remember bad Sandakan where them do with Olympic Yard and police station. When that them land some gorilla pattern. And when them done shot it up them kill 3 policemen. In a 1987 now they throw him the pan. Now him drop the prison fence and couldn't get him to hang. In 9th of September 1988 and them say them lick off Sandakan facing bad, wanted man. We shot soldier and police tell you about bad, wicked man. And then the road boy me call gun gargan. Me no don't get this me illustration. Me bounty hunter me game prolong. We touching at the year 1991. Say who a run things that are not him Morgan. Say that him a police, the soldier man. And everything in a the institution. Say no fi mention certain civilian. But me hear say him get shot by policeman. And no inform and a lego information. Well him is not the first night that the second. Well tell me next year who will be the next bad wanted man.
That's Bounty Hunter from an LP called Wanted, which I recommend to you. It's on New Name Music, an import from Jamaica. Bad Wanted Man is the title of it. And then before that, it was 5 Illiga Zelfs Controller from their most recent recordings. And they, as I say, playing in London on Wednesday at the Sir George Robey. Information about WBI Red Ninja in session tonight. Well, the latest 4-track EP, Hell's a Place I Know, is in record shops now, we're advised. An LP is planned for release in April of next year, and it's currently being worked on. WBI Red Ninja are supporting Ice Cube on his UK tour in April 1992, and they've got a PA in Reading on Friday the 13th of December. This is Killing at Hell's Gate.
The moment you've all been waiting for. Let's get ready to rumble tonight in the heavyweight division.
Those are the lively ones, and it comes from a CD called The Big Surf, as well you might imagine, and it's Surf Rider. The CD also, which is on Ace Records incidentally, features Dave Myers and the Surf Tones, the Centurions, the Impacts, and the Sentinels. Before that, of course, it was our guests in session, Red Ninja, an excellent session, Killing at Hell's Gate, Catherine Wheel. Alan Troper on Hype Records, and that's called Ecstatic, in brackets Dry Mix. And before that, it was Catherine Wheel from the present 12-inch, and Let Me Down Again. And taking us in the direction that I've got to stop saying it's actually such a DJ's thing to do. This is from the Faith Healers on 2 Pure Records, Reptile Smile. Those are the Faith Healers, their current single, Reptile Smile. It's 1 o'clock on 1FM, and Adrian Finnegan has the news.
The Prime Minister and Chancellor have spent the day in talks in Holland, trying once again to reach agreement on the proposed treaty to be signed at the Maastricht summit. It's become clear most EC countries oppose Britain's call for a general right to opt out of a single currency. They want to isolate Britain if it insists on delaying a decision to join. When he returned to Downing Street tonight, John Major described his talks with the Dutch Prime Minister as hard-pounding. Scotland Yard says that it believes the IRA planted the firebombs that exploded in a number of London shops over the weekend. The anti-terrorist squad has issued a warning for the public to show extra vigilance in the run-up to Christmas. Police are suggesting that there may be 2 IRA gangs operating. The Lebanese kidnap gang holding the American hostage Joseph Sisipio has announced that he will be set free in Beirut at 9 o'clock in the morning our time. The announcement came after Syria had said that it expected Mr. Sisipio to be released from captivity within 24 hours. He was kidnapped 5 years ago by the Revolutionary Justice Organization while working in Beirut as an administrator at the American University. The people of the Ukraine have cast their votes in a referendum to decide whether the republic should leave the Soviet Union. Preliminary indications suggest that there'll be a landslide in favour of independence. Police in North Wales are investigating allegations of sexual abuse in children's homes in Clwyd. There have also been claims that young people have suffered physical abuse at an assessment centre in Gwynedd. All the allegations have been made by young men in their late teens and early 20s who were in care some years ago. The American space shuttle Atlantis has landed in California after curtailing its mission by 3 days because of a partial failure of its navigation system. The 6 astronauts on board completed their main task in space, which was to send into orbit a military satellite to monitor missile launches and nuclear explosions on Earth. Well, that's it. We'll have more news on 1FM at 2.
They were long and clear, and there were lots of stars at night. And when it would rain, it would all turn. They were beautiful, the most beautiful skies, as a matter of fact. The sunsets were purple and red and yellow and on fire, and the clouds would catch the colors everywhere. That's neat, because I used to look at them all the time, and I thought, you don't see that.
You will recognise, of course, the Orb, and that's Little Fluffy Clouds from the LP on Big Life. Aubrey mixes the Ultra World Excursions, and what's happening here with this LP, this Aubrey mix, is that it's going to be deleted on the day of its release, and the day of its release is, well, today, as a matter of fact. And it's, what as it says, it's set to become the collector's item of the year, so they hopefully, and they're currently recording new tracks for their second LP due out next year, and it's available on vinyl, CD and cassette. Anything else that I should tell you about? Oh, Orb travellers are advised to order from their local record shop by the 29th of November, so sorry about that, I should have warned you earlier on. Anyway, this is Daisy Chainsaw. Well, I never. That's Daisy Chainsaw, one of the tracks on the B-side of the debut single. That's called Sick as Sex. And I'm going through the mail. I was rather anticipating a lot of letters from people mourning the passing of the Festive 50, but up until now there haven't been any, so clearly it was the right thing to do. But here's one from Lucy, who writes to me from Crooks in Sheffield, feeling fairly subdued, I think it's fair to say, judging from the letter anyway, and she wants me to say hello to Adrian, and assures me they'll both be listening. This is Superchunk, Tie a Rope to the Back of the Bus. Why won't somebody with a better grasp of contemporary culture write to me and tell me why this LP is called No Pocky for Kitty? It's by Superchunk, and that was tie a rope to the back of the bus. And here's a letter from somebody with the glorious name of Vanilla Beer, currently in Lincolnshire, but complaining about the shortage of bands from the South East London Musicians Collective featured in these programmes. And she says, I assume she says, are you aware of the magic of the Woolwich, Lewisham, New Cross triangle? And asks me about No Tram Shed. Oh, no, hold on, that's the name of the band. Sorry, that's the venue. Hold on, where are the... Seven Kevins, Brain of Mobius, The Sea, The Glorious Baby Trio, Micro Groove, Best Foot Forward, and Sheep on Drugs. And, of course, I've read about some of these, but heard, I'm afraid to say, none of them. But I hope that will change as a result of this sulky announcement.
Give me pass. Now the Spirit of the Lord is upon me. For he has anointed me and called me gospel. And with the cap fit, I want you wear it. Whether you're a lawyer, doctor, or producer. Lord of his mercy. Gospel fishing at the party. Wanna hear me? You give me pass. For you a hold back the youth, but wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Give me pass. You not go hold this your youth for a wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Me do have to talk for your eye them not lock. You must can't see say well as zinc fence me got. You think me I got and watch your pop down that. And see your bread butter with the jump on the top. You a act like you're nice and still I said trap. If a hypocrite your tongue go take a look at dove cat. No make life blind you try hide that. No make it catch your picnic then we turn and the cap. Give me pass. For you a hold back the youth, but wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Give me pass. You not go hold this a youth for a wicked you wicked and not like hear the. None every cow and grass and better position. It look like a you and fishy dung and yam. What? You lick your head where you get that from. Your mother never drink milk when she pregnant. And my slice of cake, you have your yai pan. Me prefer dopey get it hard chewy the hard. You give me pass. For you a hold back the youth, but wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Give me pass. You not go hold this a youth. Wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Me nah hide and talk, this a no secret. You visit for me yard, me no have no toilet. One big hole of buckets around them, me shut your mouth little bit for a no idiot this. No liberty take when you careless, you know. Go under 4 rules, 4 could no share the food. Give me lazy for this a slackness. Yo, they dress back with your lip service. This a no mad man, you looking at gospel fish. Give me pass. For you a hold back the youth, but wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Give me pass. You not go hold this a youth. Wicked you wicked and not like hear them. I could have branch or stem or even the root. This woman the way tweet want tie up and shoot. I don't want you take youth fi no pan coat. You will sit down and yam and we take away your food. You deprive me family them from wear shoes. Me baby mother maga me shame fi see road. I don't want get out a harder hand road. Give me pass. For you a hold back the youth, but wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Give me pass. You don't go hold this a youth. Wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Me don't have to talk for your eye them not lock. You must can't see say well as zinc fence me got. You think me I got and watch your pop down that. And see your bread butter with the jump on the top. You a hack like you're nice and still I said trap. If a hypocrite your tongue go take a look at dove cat. No make life blind you try hide that. No make it catch your picnic then we turn on the cap. Give me pass. For you a hold back the youth, but wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Give me pass. You not go hold this a youth. Wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Every cow and grass and better position. It look like a you and fishy dung and yam. What? You lick your head where you get that from. Your mother never drink milk when she pregnant. And my slice of cake, you have your yai pan. Me prefer dopey get it hard chewy the hard. You give me pass. For you a hold back the youth, but wicked you wicked and not like hear the truth. Give me pass. You not go hold this a youth. Wicked you wicked and not like.
And very nice too. That's on Sinbad Records by Gospel Fish, and it's called Gimme Pass. And the next band has 2 bass players and 6 guitarists. I played it once before, but it's quite possible that you missed it. It's called Most Popular Man in the World, and the band is Superconductor. Well, I suppose once you get past like 3 or 4 guitar players, there's not a great deal you can do other than just strum furiously. That's a Superconductor, 7-inch single on Scratch Records, an import from America, and it's called Most Popular Man in the World. And the last coming up in just a moment from Red Ninja, Look Black in Anger is the title of it, the last of a really fine session, I think. And I shall segue that rather prettily, I hope, if I press the right button or don't spontaneously combust in the meantime, into a record which is a great favourite of mine when I was a child. Self-indulgent, I should say so. And I won't tell you what it is until after I've played it, but all of the whistling is, all of the noises are produced by a human throat, as they indeed, no, I was going to say they are in this, but clearly they're not. This is Red Ninja, Look Black in Anger.
I am not prejudiced against black people. Some of my best friends are black people.
Excuse me, this is the situation. Every young white adult says, I have not done this to black people, I have not done that to black people. But your forefathers are the ones who have set us in the situation we are in. Now, what I'm saying is this.
Culture, looking in places for the angels with dirty faces. Claim you know me, but just a phony. Need your crony, so you try and stone me. Too super deep, cause I use a guitar lick. I'll only be judged in the eyes of the public. I'm the Mad Hatter, cause my subject matter deals with the former as well as the latter. About the throne on which we sat, our kings, queens, arrogant thieves. I thought I was a slave child until my teens. Education from this nation left me in a state of frustration, so I wore the ball, slapped the whore. Teach and learn, cause I'm part of the bad corps. Feed you for training as an animal, but I'm not all born off the original. You have no superiors, you have no inferiors. I call you by your name cause you're all warriors. Look black in anger. 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 It's no surprise if my people are rising. Explain my vocalizing, say I'm scandalizing, or even terrorizing. Open up your eyes, maybe you'll see before my history. So I draw an analogy with your policy of democracy, degree in robbery, cranial sodomy, professional miming, pass the battlescape, tell you theology, then acknowledge me, and the truth. Evidently my poetry, I've got the wisdom and the heart. Remain true to the memory of the starter. Check the rhyming, my mind will roll free. Over plains, cultural terrains, the rhyme may be ready, but it's still entertained. You have no superiors, you have no inferiors. I call you by your name cause you're all warriors. Yeah, look black in anger. Bad boy, warriors. Look black in anger. 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 Look warriors. Look black in anger. 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 Look black. Look black in anger. Bad boy, look black. Black in anger. Look black in anger. Look black in anger. Look black in anger. The colonial phony will tell you it was savage. If this was true, how did we manage to build structures that still stand to this day? Or yours just decay, ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Black to the future, in God we trust. No mission, or a scary missionary with these eerie, Valkyrie theories. My thoughts now skimming to how you skank the scene. Kill the dream and worship James B. Acting methodically, Hollywood quality, but the past still bothers me. Historical icons still battle Duke-on. Don't try to brainwash, our intention to wash. Your lives just won't wash. Now with the ninjas they won't. You have no superiors, you have no inferiors. I call you by your name cause you're all warriors. Look black in anger. Look warriors.
And the underclass are growing. Racial
Warriors.
Look black in anger. They have created a repressive
Look black in anger.
we are their unwilling
Look black in anger. Look black in anger. Look warriors. Look black in anger. Look black in anger. Look black in anger. Look warriors. Look black in anger. 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 Warriors. Bad boy. Look black in anger.
Roddy Ronald, and that's from a CD called Hello Children Everywhere Volume 4. But whatever happened to Volumes 1, 2 and 3? I know it was sent those. I should like to hear them, though. Lots of favourites on them, no doubt. That's in a monastery garden, of course, and was originally released in, what year? It must have been about 1948, 1949. It'll tell. CDs, I hate those little plastic horrors. Let's see, where are we? 1948 it was, my goodness me. Before that, it was the last a fine session from Red Ninja, Look Black in Anger, and this is Pay the Man. On Skyscraper Records and rather seductive Clear Vinyl, that's Pay the Man. I mean, that's the name of the band. And Popeye is the title of the single. And, I don't know, it must have been... I think I gave away, actually, a copy of an LP by Diblo Dibala and Le Groupe Lequeto to somebody, ill-advisedly, as it turned out, because I've not been able to replace it. I don't know why I did it. Foolish thing to do. So this very afternoon, because I wanted to play a track from it in this programme, I went out to one of those places where, they're now open for Sunday shopping in the run-up to Christmas and so forth. And I'm wondering, I must say this, I'm wondering who it is, that these shops that have been encouraged, or permitted anyway, to kind of flout the law. I mean, the law does exist. I wonder which political party they're going to be making their donations to. I think I know. I have a feeling feeling in the back of my mind that I can answer that question myself. Anyway, the rest of you, you must stick with the law. I certainly don't want to be accused of advising people not to do that. But I went out, I took advantage of this situation to go out and buy a CD by Laquetta, which cost me, 13 quid. I wasn't happy about that. I must admit that I wasn't, but I wanted to play you the track, which is Mondo Re. 13 quid, you know, it is a lot to pay for a CD, isn't it? I mean, I know I'm fighting a losing battle on this CD, on the CD front, but you've been taken to the cleaners, and so am I. Anyway, that's Laketo, and it comes from a CD which is called Extra Ball, and Mondo Ri is the title of it. This is Nessun Dorma from their LP on MCR UK called Chew It Over, which plays at 45 RPM, don't forget that. This is Meaningless. Well worth the price of admission, I think. Nessun Dorma from their debut LP, and that was called Meaningless.
Please bear with it and I'll get back.
Magic Mushroom Band on Magic Eye Records, and that's called Pictures in Your Mind. And I've just uncovered a letter from my pal George from Swindon saying that he and others are involved in promoting a gig featuring the family cat at the Link Centre next Saturday, December the 7th, in Swindon, of course. Oxford United are crap, he's putting at the bottom. I wonder what a shocking thing to say. This is Midi Rain, or a bit of it.
check for. But the Bible says, so for the little children to come unto me, and go look your size, for such is the kingdom of God. Say, Lord of his mercy. Long if a boy thinking bad, just touch me, little girl. She at 10. I don't want a man look on her. If a boy thinking bad, touch me, little girl. She at 10. I don't want a man look on. Left me daughter, she at just 10. You know what make she prosper. Don't even look her, she don't want a partner. Make master God breeze blow upon her. Me hear enough man attack like a she, them a swear for. But me have a cutlass, the boss, it no cater. Anything threaten, me limit and pay for. Now make a boy come blighted our future. Take it from the reverend fish. None if a boy thinking bad, just touch me, little girl. She at 10. I don't want a man look on her. If a boy thinking bad, just touch me, little girl. She at 10. I don't want a fly pitch pan me and jester. All of me money, me spend it on Keisha. Dying for the day come when she done doctor. Now her in a loafer. No for them your man, you coulda turn Keisha father. Try look your size, go on your hole. Nigga, I am the Doberman for my daughter. Take it from the Reverend Fish. None if a boy thinking bad, just touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on her. If a boy thinking bad, touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on. Watch the danger when you have a daughter from 10 now over. Start to develop as a nice teenager. Some of them a crop out, ya soon start henka. Some of them a brush up and dab with it. Stone and stick too good for beat the whole creature. Use piece of iron, lick the vampire. Make him remember me walk 10 miles from your daughter. Take it from the Reverend Fit. None if a boy thinking bad, just touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on her. If a boy thinking bad, him touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on. Hear me, mister. Time is hard, but you don't make it harder. But if you continue live on the youngster, one of these fine days you're going go a prison for. Be a little infant, you just want murder. All of your thinking is just fun. Keisha dismiss your guess, and me last you a ask for. Me not tolerate no slackness thing, Tanya. I am your Reverend Fit. None if a boy thinking bad, him touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on her. If a boy thinking bad, touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on left me daughter. She a just 10. Your love want make she prosper. Don't even look her. She don't want a partner. Make master God breathe blow on her. Me hear enough man attack like a she. Them a swear for. But me have a cutlass. The boss it no cater. Anything threaten me limit and pay for. Now make a boy come blighted our future. Take it from the Reverend Fit. None if a boy thinking bad, him touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on her. If a boy thinking bad, touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on me and jester. All of me money, me penny bank Keisha. Dying for the day come when she turn doctor. Now make a boy come turn her in a loafer. No for them your man, you coulda turn Keisha father. Try look your size, one your hole. Nigga, I am the Doberman for my daughter. I am your Reverend Fish. None if a boy thinking bad, touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on her. If a boy thinking bad, touch me, little girl. She a 10. I don't want a man look on. Watch the danger when you have a daughter from 10 now over. Start to develop as a nice teenager.
Curious record, really. That's Gospel Fish on Penthouse Records, an import from Jamaica, of course, and 10 is the title of it. And last night I played you a track from the CD A Lump of Coal, specifically the Wedding Presents version of Elton John's Stepping Into Christmas. There are 11 tracks on there by various folk, as you might imagine. This, by some distance, the strangest of them, I think.
High, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up the house as they flew, with sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked just like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, and then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of the thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
And that goes for me too. That's Henry Rollins and a track from the CD, A Lump of Coal, a reading of the it was A Night Before Christmas, and very sinister sounding too. That's the end of tonight's programme. Sessions next weekend from the Crispy 3 and Raw Noise on Saturday, and then on Sunday it's the Frank and Walters and the Telescopes. But now it's 2 o'clock on 1FM, and Adrian Finnegan has the news.